everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Ask Tatyana. Today we will continue with the topic how to choose a guitar, and I would like to show you today which things could be problematic on an instrument and how you can avoid it, and of course how you can make a choice that you will be happy with. So let's start. A short drive test with a classical guitar. So the first thing I usually do when I take in my hands new instrument, I test it on the basses, on the bass strings, because the basses in the first position are really a big problem at many guitars, especially on a cheaper guitars, and it's the part that you need to check first. What could be the problem? The rattling and buzzing strings, they can be really very annoying when you don't notice it at the first time, but when you buy the guitar and take it at home and you play your favorite piece and you go really deep in the music, and in the most important moment you hear buzz, it's really not so nice. So how we can check it? Very easy. I start to play chromatic scales over basses or 3 bass strings in the first position, and I do it really very loud, not my usual normal sound, but really very loud. To be able to show it to you, I took today quite usual, normal, cheap Chinese guitar. It costed somewhere around 100 euros, and it was many years ago. And as I said, I need to do now really a lot, much more as usual, to be able to show you these problematic parts. So let's start. Chromatic scales on the basses. Probably you could hear it already, some of the strings sound really difficult, with a lot of rattling everywhere, and some of the strings, for example the first string, more or less clear. Usually, if I make this test on the guitar and if it sounds like it did now, I wouldn't buy this one. Even I wouldn't recommend it for a student who starts to play the instrument. The next point, when we're talking about rattling or buzzing, you need to keep in mind that even the absolutely great, expensive, the best guitars in the world would have a small area with buzzing strings. Why? In German it's some kind of Wolfston. In English, I hope I called it right, it's some kind of resonation tone. What is it? It's some kind of 1 or 2 notes where the instrument gets started to resonate a lot. And as I said, even on a very expensive and high quality instrument, you will have these notes. How you can recognize them? The most typical resonating tones could be on F, on the 6th string, or F or F sharp. Sometimes it could be around G. Very rare it will be G sharp or A. To be sure that it's not any kind of defective fret or something like that, but that there is this resonating tone, you need to find the same problem on the 4th string. So for example, if this buzzing would be a real resonating tone, that you will find the same buzzing on the same F and F sharp, but on the 4th, on the D string. In this case we can say yes. So it's not a problem, it's just the area or the place in the instrument where it starts to resonate a lot. In all other cases, you don't need to have any buzzing on the strings, not on the basses, not on the high strings. After I did this test in the first position, I go higher, because also the fifth position and especially seventh and eighth fret are also very problematic, especially on the cheaper guitars. And I make the same test on in this new area. Not a good sign, so better don't take this one. Another difficult part could be the 12th and 13th fret. Also on the very good guitars, I would recommend to test you this area, because very often the notes on the 12th or on the 13th fret sounds very, very shut, and they are like swallowed. If you are just a beginner and if you start to play guitar, the most important part on the instrument would be this one. So the first position, probably the fifth position. You don't need to worry a lot about 14th, 15th, 16th fret, because you will not really use it. But if you are more professional and if you play along, you also need to check the highest positions on the guitar, because also by a very good guitar, sometimes here everything sounds wonderful, perfect, very nice till the 12th fret, and after 13th there are a lot of problems. What are the problems? The sound is really very short, or it doesn't really come out, or it can be very dull, and also some buzzing and rattling. So check this point also. Another thing what I would check is how long the notes sound, or how long the sound stays in the room. It depends also which kind of instrument you take. When we speak about classical guitars, and when you have double top, or when you test double top, a sandwich guitar, they will have in generally shorter sound than, for example, traditional guitars. It's normal, it's usual. The double tops in this case are much better for the music, for any kind of fast music, and traditional instrument, they can carry the notes better, so it suits probably a little bit better to any kind of lyrical, slowly music. How you can check the length of the note? You need, of course, also to compare different instruments. Then you will notice, okay, this one is longer, this one is shorter, and what I would like to have. In general, I make it in the fifth position, and I play, for example, the B. And I hear how long it sounds. Maybe you also can try to count. Okay. I can hear it here. I'm not sure that you can hear it there. To check how long the sound stays, you can on a quite slowly lyrical pieces. For example, if you would like to check also the high position of the guitar, the first part of Barrios Cathedral would be quite well. For example, another piece could be Romance d'Amour. And so on. So it's really quite well to have some kind of melody in the highest position where you can hear how long it stays and how react the guitar in these high positions. Another test drive in my program is also to play short parts of different pieces with the different characters. For example, to play on the guitar something that is really fast and more energetic, then you will hear how fast the instrument reacts, and probably you will hear the double top reacts much faster than the traditional guitar. Or to play something really slowly, really lyrical, to take a look how the guitar can transport the sound, how the instrument can hold the sound, about sustain. Another point is also to check some kind of basses, any pieces where you play in a lot of basses. Just to be able to hear if you have a rich sound or if you have more shy sound, or not so loud and not so presentive. And once again, don't forget to compare different instruments, and especially new instruments, with your own instrument. Take a short line, probably 1-2 measures or just 10 seconds, and play it on one guitar, then put it aside and play the same part on another one. Only in this comparison you will hear the objective differences between the instruments, about how loud they are, which character they have, what about basses, and what about discant strings, what about sustain, and many other. Only then you have a good chances to make a good decision, and you will not regret it when you take the instrument at home and play it there. I want to encourage you to test the instrument like you would test the car. Try to do an extremely test drive to put the instrument on its borders, because only then you will have the most full picture and you will avoid bad surprises at home. So I wish you a lot of luck and a big success by searching for a new instrument, and of course a lot of joy with your new guitar.